I'll do the ice cube and you do the, I don't know. Who you prefer?
Well, as long as I'm not the vanilla ice, it's all good.
Vanilla ice. Yeah, man.
All right, welcome to another edition of Fresh. Is it Fresh Takeover? It is Fresh Takeover. Okay, let me start
Hmm.
again. Welcome to another episode of Fresh Takeover. Today we're going to be talking about how do artists survive through this COVID-19, or how have the artists survived? Basically, you have me, Kirk, which is Catcher Eye Photography, and you got Petrus over there, um, talking about how he survived through it. And I mean, we've been in two lockdowns, so I guess we could ask questions on if the difference has changed since the first lockdown and the second lockdown. I just put a time, we are in London, UK. So, our perspective on it could be different to anybody else that's in a different country. But not just that, our perspectives can be different because you know, um, we are artists of the same collabora where we take photos, but we are artists, so we're still different. Even though there's things that are very much similar, we are different. And I mean, to be honest, I think different is good. It means that there's always room to learn and grow from, and to always be open-minded to different situations. So I'm gonna go first and ask Petrus, how did you survive being in the first lockdown? How you survived?
Um, to be honest, is from, I mean, the way it all started, nobody was ready for it, really. Nobody saw it coming to start
Mm-hmm.
with, you know. It was, but the funny part, I kind of, obviously, I don't want to sound like um this psychic person or anything like that. I'm gonna take it way back 2019, before pandemic started, like 3 4 months. I was sitting down in a coffee shop. One of those moments you just contemplate and just look at life just as it's happening.
Uh huh.
Just people walking by. This was Starbucks. I remember down Brixton. Before they closed down Starbucks, the one in Brixton next to the station,
Okay.
Brixton Station. I was just sitting there, just gazing, and I'm thinking like, gazing through the window, and I'm thinking like, I wonder what would happen if this country actually locked down. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was, I used to have this imagination. I was just sitting down and just like, because back at home, my country, where I'm from, Ethiopia, Eritrea, we closed down for break time, lunchtime, for like an hour, 2 hours, or sometimes 3 hours. So they open like 5 o'clock afternoon for the next shift evening. So I used to think like that. What happened? What happens in this country if that happened? You know. And few months later, boom, I was like, whoa. I was like, you know, it was like, then I was like, okay, this is crazy. Start thinking. Um, I wasn't ready for it, obviously, just like everybody else. I was like, whoa, all right. So how I'm going to move about, how I'm going to survive, because creating artwork, that's our bread and butter. Um, like everything I knew, I felt like everything I knew didn't matter really. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you, that's how I felt like sometimes when you feel like low to the lowest, like you don't know nothing. That's how I just literally felt like, because was nobody was prepared for it to
Yeah.
for this. It just hit right, and so many job lost, and obviously so many people got infected, and sadly a lot of people passed away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I like to use the term. I would say, moved on to the next life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably better place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's it just got me thinking. So I just had to grab a job wherever that I really pretty much find. Um, it was tough, and the fact that there was no job out there. You know, So I had to pretty much go low, like not low, but I just went to the different experience. I start looking for something else, still because being creative is in my DNA anyway. It's not going to lead me anywhere. Even if I try to avoid it, it's still
Hmm.
there. It's part of me. Um, when the time comes, I know it will come to me. The universe provides it. Um, I said to myself, okay, I need to pay my bill. I gotta eat. I gotta keep the lights on.
Hmm.
So I just then start doing the care sector. That's totally different to what I was doing.
Hmm.
With my profession and everything. So I said to myself, like, okay, I start meditating on it, start praying on it, all that kind of stuff, and um because I was working on my mindset, I was just doing all my personal growth the past 3 years. That kind of helped me in a way to stay strong mentally. In a way, it did affect me, but not to that extent. In a way, to be honest with you, because I always try to stay on the positive mindset.
Yeah.
You know, even sometimes through the bad thing, you need to be able to see the good things, if that makes sense. So I always been like that. The past 4 years, I just got into personal development and growth,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. And that was my vehicle. And until now, that's my vehicle I use. And I just try to stay positive as much as I can, especially on that peak moment. And in a way, for me, as a photographer, create content, all that kind of stuff. Um, he kinda a bit for me was a good advantage in a way because for the person that lived in UK in London for like all my life almost, I never seen London in the quietest state. Like it was like deserted. So as an artist, as a creative person, you see the whole different perspective. Like you actually you got opportunity to create something new. You know, I know it sounds a bit it sounds a bit cliche. The fact that people are panicking and everything, and what you can think about is like the next level of creation. Because at the end of the day, it's our responsibility as an artist to actually show what really happened. You know, that's where actually sometimes they say you have to go through the darkness for you to shine out. You have to go those moments, and you have to use those moments for your better growth.
Hmm.
You build a lot of things. So for me, working as a right now, working in a career, in a career that I did never knew, which was totally different to my field. I have to start from the scratch. I had to take the course and all that kind of stuff to get a qualification.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a whole new, different ball game now.
Yeah.
Even though I'm still doing my work, so I just had to get evolved. That's what I had to do. Otherwise I would have been like literally burnt out and probably I don't know where I would be if my mindset wasn't in the right positive state mind of thinking.
Yeah.
I try to always I try to even from the negative or bad thing that happens in my life, I try to take out positive stuff out of it
Yeah.
because I know I can. It's like you need to have the yin and the yang, you know what I mean?
Of course.
so so and I have to find that balance as well. I had to be real with myself. Okay, I'm not gonna have with this pandemic no client. I'm not gonna have any client, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
work on my own personal projects.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's for me. It's not just the money. Yes, good, but it's more than that for me. Creating artwork, it's
Hmm.
personal. You
Yeah.
know, so I start working on my personal stuff. Uh, so I just had to get involved. And then it happened to be um got into Frasiers as well. Started doing the stuff, and that actually gave me even more uh what do you call it, like petrol
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
my vehicle, that helps me to actually come out even further, come on my, because I was still in that scarcity mindset, um, looking back when we are doing the whole shoot for a shoot and all that kind of stuff, for the work, for the projects, um, as is still going on. And because you sacrifice and you don't know what's going to happen, the
Yeah.
police might come. A lot of things can take place, but you have to. This is where the leaders comes out. I believe this is where the people, the right mindset, they come out.
Yeah.
And if you don't come on this kind of situation, people, all the rants that you've been for during the years, when everything was lovely dovely, when there's sunshine and rainbow,
Mm-hmm.
anybody can do those kind of work. But you need to come out when the tough time is actually striking. Then people, they need look, they'll see like, is this the person is that you, that who you were, like, how can I put this together? um are you preaching what you're practicing? You know what I
You
mean?
practice what you preach.
Exactly, yes. Vice versa. That's the remix. so so people, they will look up to you, be like, okay, so is that, are you practicing what you're preaching?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have that kind of, because you have responsibility, and anything that you do, it has to have a long-term effect. You're living with legacy. And now I'm seeing myself, I've been doing the care working for a year, and I've learned so many things like I never thought I would learn. At
Mm-hmm.
some point I thought like I'm going to become a doctor, because the only thing I have to do is just inject people. That's the only thing I got left. But you learn, you learn about people lifestyle, what it means to be a human,
Mm-hmm.
to live in this earth. I learned so many things, and I learned so many things about myself, you know, by actually doing those kind of, I mean, yes, you get paid, pay is all right, but really and truly, it was the experience that for me kind of helped me to build a good personality, like helps you to build a good character in a way. So it's all to do with the state of mind at the end of the day, because if you don't work on your mind, um, that's it. You become paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, you can look healthy and all that, but in the here mentally, if you're not there, then people easily can get struck down.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's what my experience has been so far. And funny enough, I don't know. I've got an interview coming up soon as well. Actually, I got approached from a school to work
Okay.
in a school, you know. So we're gonna see what happens, what goes,
Yeah.
how it goes further from there. Working with young people in the school. So I was like, wow, all right. So sometimes you have to go low to go up. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just go always like that. Otherwise, there's no challenge in that.
Yeah.
You have to go through those obstacles, and especially as a creative, us creative people can be sensitive. you
Mm-hmm.
know we don't like to be told, we don't like to be, because we're creators.
Yeah.
That's what that's what we're born to do
Mm-hmm.
on this earth. I mean, everybody's a creative person, truly speaking, but because they detach themselves, because of the society detach them, they been labeled and all that kind of stuff, all kind of things. They kind of lost that gift in a way, and it takes years of practice and training to get that back. But you will get that. You will get if you really, really work on it. But you know, yeah, could be a ranting, man. My juice.
Well,
Mm,
sometimes we must open to allow someone to hit the stage and say what
mm.
they have to say, without any interruptions, so they can flow with what what their mind is saying.
Yeah,
You
true.
know, and and that's what I did there.
Mm. Appreciate that.
There's many a times that I could have jumped in and said something, but
Mm.
sometimes when you get interjected from what you're saying, you get
Mm.
sidetracked to what you really wanted to come across with. So
Yes.
that's why I was like, my turn's gonna come when my
Mm.
time comes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody got their own time. It comes in it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to wait.
Mm. But how did you find it so far for you
For
as
for me,
yeah.
do you know what's insane? It's
Mm.
insane that the few a few days before we went into lockdown, me and you were together, and we were having a conversation just
Oh yeah.
randomly.
Yes.
In fact, let's tell the story properly.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, because me and you decided to hire a Santander bike or Boris bike or whatever it was,
Oh yes, 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 it
and
was.
and we decided to. I think we decided to ride from Victoria Station to Westminster, from Westminster to um, what was it, Leicester Square to what was it, um,
I think we went for the whole London almost.
yeah,
Sample? Did we go to
yeah.
Sample? I think. No, did we?
We went all over the place, but we stopped at
Mm.
was that private place where we stopped near where we caught in that private area? Where is that private area we stopped at?
Oh yeah, that I know which one. Covent Garden,
Yeah, we stopped at Covent
somewhere down there.
Garden, and we
Yes.
looked around Covent Garden, and it's
Mm.
like what is happening around here? Because literally there was you, me, and probably four other people in Covent
Yeah.
Garden,
Mm.
and if no one's been to Covent Garden before, I'd suggest you Google it and have a look on the mass of what's normally there in Covent Garden. And me
Mm.
and you went into the middle of where um, Jamie Oliver is, the market area, and me and you were just having a discussion about something,
Mm.
and a discussion where we decided to go live and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And when we were having a conversation, we security came and they were asking the questions. So we went upstairs, we talked to security. It came down, we were still able to do it, which normally you're not able to do because it's private land.
Yeah. Of
And,
course.
you know, like before then, I was thinking this lockdown idea or this whatever it is, I was thinking like, regardless of what happens, I've got responsibility because I'm a father of two, but I've got a
Mm.
responsibility of like what is going to happen on that period of time, like who's going to look after the kids because I'm not with the mother anymore. So it's like who's gonna,
Mm.
and copanism and thinking
Mm.
forward, and you know and
Mm.
also being a creative person, like how is that going to work, and
Mm.
you know like working and then not having any work, and what comes first and how is it gonna all work. um
Mm.
it got sorted, it did get sorted, but like for me, like before anything else, my challenge is trying to be the best dad as possible, and
Mm.
being responsible enough to um make the right choices and live up to those choices. And I didn't want to be in a situation when I went, at this point of time, I thought about myself over anybody else. I
Mm.
thought about myself, and you know I I don't always talk about this, but the main thing for me, the importance is my kids, or making sure that they're right.
Of
So
course.
I had to like kind of make a choice of like, how is this going to even work? Like, what is lockdown for one, and how long are we going to be in it? And this
Mm.
thing called coronavirus, and everyone feels that they know what's happening, and and there's so many different views about this thing, and you know, with in the back of my head, my creatives list is like, like London's gonna be locked down, man. There's gonna be, you know, like I've just learned that we could record footage and send it to someone in a different country that might use it for editing and blah. There's money there. Like
Mm.
there's possibility of creativeness. There's money there because you can get this back
Mm.
footage they can upload somewhere and people are going to pay loads of money for because
Mm.
the film industry still needs it. The
Mhm.
the the fashion industry still needs it because they can chop it up
Mm.
and make an advertisement or whatever, you
Mm.
know. But I don't have that option. I don't have that option. So it's like, okay, so what we could do? We don't have the option. What we could do?
Mm.
Okay, so um, I talked. We talked about things like before this lockdown. Probably maybe the summer before the lockdown, we were talking about going to fashion shows or going so many different places, and
Mm.
rushing around going to these places and not asking ourselves the questions of why we do it.
Mm.
You know, we always go to these fashion shows and someone says, "Oh, can you take pictures of me? Could I contact you later on about the photos?" Or
Mm.
almost dictate when you go to show someone dictates that you go here and here and here.
Mm.
Um, Majority of the time when people do that, they're not paying you to do it, but they want the stuff.
Yes. Mhm.
Um, you know, it was around about that time we decided that we're not going to be available for everybody. If we go somewhere, we're available for ourselves. If
Mm.
people are talking to us about, can we do this, 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 we have to
Mm.
calculate off, how's it going to benefit us because really and truly, we took the photos, we
Yeah.
edit them, we whatever, regardless of what happens, we have to make sure we get credit on it. You know,
Mm.
even if we're humble enough to say it doesn't really matter, but it does matter because we took the photo or whatever.
Mm.
Um, so like lockdown for me, I had to calculate like, you know, how do I now become a teacher to my child's or children, or
Mhm.
you know, my kids have two different um like I have a biological son and I have a adopted daughter. So
Okay.
my daughter still has a relationship with her dad, so I had to
Okay.
kind of pull back from
Mm.
um, seeing my daughter every day and raising her from the age of uh, 16 or 18 months, being in her
Mm.
life every
Wow.
day until not being in her life every day, sort of thing.
Mm.
Which I had to kind of not even let them emotions even hit me because I'm like,
Yeah, of course.
regardless, it got to move forward because you either sink or you swim. You either sink or you swim.
Mm.
So
Literally.
then, like, I'm like thinking, you've been a creative person, got all this equipment. What are we doing with this equipment? Like, literally, and for me, like everybody else, is like this year. Like, I mean, 2020 was the year that everything's going to be more professional. Like, literally, levels of conversation, levels of what we're going to
Mm.
do. We and you talked about this. We talked
Yeah.
about like the
Yeah.
level of you know, and in the
Mm.
industry of what we are going to take in as being respectable to our boundaries,
Yes.
and then we get into the corona situations like, okay, well that's gone, that's our plan gone, sort of
Mm.
thing. And
Mm.
it then made me question other things that luckily there was ideas or projects and stuff that I wanted to create, and looking back at the failure of them and kind of calculating like how are we going to survive in this.
Mm.
Initially, um, the lives happened, like live conversations happened
Mm.
about like just talking to people and just having conversation with people to find out how their well-being is.
Mm.
Um, for me, it was communicating, like speaking to the real world, as well
Mm.
as making sure that people are okay because
Mm.
when everyone's locked and thrown into lockdown, there's not enough mental health people to uh,
Mhm.
nurses out there or providers to give personal care to even check just to see if someone's okay. There's too much,
Mm.
and um, even those that are qualified to be that, they're now in a situation that they've never been in before,
Yeah.
never been in before. All these qualifications tells you that you can do a lot of things with these qualifications, but they never tell you, like, therapist needs therapists to
Mm-hmm.
be able to therapy. So if they got none of that, um,
Yes.
barbers are closed. For especially with, I can't even say people of color, because nowadays you've got loads of people going for barbers because they find that it's cheaper to go to barbers to be able to talk to your barber about certain things
Mm-hmm.
than the
Yeah.
therapist, because the therapist will charge 50, 60 pounds an hour, but a barber will charge you 20 pounds for the haircut, and you might be
Yeah.
there for an hour and a half. So the
Mm.
savings is there. um
Mm.
Makeup artists wanted to
Mm.
create, um organizers want to do their events. There was a lot of things happening,
Of course.
and you know like it's kind of hard for me to even say my experience, because my experience has been a lot about my people's experience, because I was thinking more about, like, what they're going through. Like, I'm lucky to have um you know family to um support me even though I don't want it. you know where they were like,
Mm.
with like, even if I feel like I'm drowning, like,
Mm.
someone's still holding me. They're like, not let me drown, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
you know I'm lucky to have that, and my son being my inspiration of being inspiring, and then having to think about, like, okay, what, legacies and stuff, like, I'm already trying to build a legacy for you. Now
Mm.
I'm in a situation where, like like um like, everybody, what are we doing, like, and what can you do? So
Mm.
other things developed, and the other things developed, which is also why we're here doing the Fresh Takeover.
Mm.
um I'm not going to talk about the other things that developed, because that's here or there right now.
Yeah.
But it's seeing that, you know challenges will make you have to think differently, and where your copinisms are, because
Yes.
throughout our lives we have always been put in a situation where we've not been comfortable, and we've
Mm.
always been put in a position where we have to survive from it. Like, I left school, didn't know
Mm.
much about college. Went
Mm.
college, my teacher didn't turn up, you know
Wow.
and that was many a times. And, like, but you have to get your qualifications, so you've got to figure out, like, how are you going to make it work. you know
Mm.
Needing money, how are you going to
Mm-hmm.
make this work?
Mm.
I need a certain amount of money, how are you going to make this work? So, you know like, went from being a sales assistant, didn't know how to be, but learned how to be one. um Luckily, I was looking for a job, found a DJing job, so I was DJing at the time. um even that conversation is another conversation. But and then, luckily, just being open about experiences,
Mm.
different experiences happened,
Mm.
which kind of made me who I am today, because I was able to survive, in a sense, and kind of calculating what you're willing to survive on and what you're not willing to survive on. You know,
Mm.
like,
Mm.
you said that you got pushed into doing um care work, which is something that you never thought about doing before.
No,
The
not
thing
at
that
all.
you don't know about is that I got pushed into to care work at the
Mm.
same reason, and literally, when I stopped doing care work, is literally the same reason why you probably gonna stop doing care work. You know,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
same reason, because of life,
Yeah.
and having to look at things in a different perspective, and at the
Yeah.
same time, you know, being able to judge things on,
Mm.
like, like they the experience they have is that you see people that have done well with themselves.
Mm.
They've done like they've got a nice big house, you know, got
Yeah.
loads of rooms or whatever, live in a nice area.
Mm.
But when you look around to see what they really have, it's like outside is the exterior is lovely, but the interior isn't balancing,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
you know. And
Mm.
at the same time, you're like, and this is going so far away from the subject. You're looking at how much effort you're putting in to do the job because it's psychological and it's
Of course.
physical,
Big time.
and whatever they pay you is not enough because it's not
Mm-hmm.
contracted enough to be like, oh, this is what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
for and this is what you're gonna make.
Mm.
They almost give you like this cup, and maybe today it's gonna be full, but maybe today it might be half full, or it
Yeah.
might not be full at all. So
Definitely.
when you've been put in situations like that, you have no choice but to change your mind thoughts.
Mm.
And what is even insane as well is because which you don't know about is that
Mm.
I was at the Brexit celebration.
Mm.
I was down at Westminster, the Brexit celebration. Like I was
Yeah.
doing some filming down there
Okay.
um, for Fresh. I was doing
Yes.
that footage isn't out yet, but I was doing
Mm.
some footage, and you're looking around the situation. You're like, and as with one of the members who was he's going around interviews all these people and
Mm.
listening to what they were saying, and
Yeah.
the facts versus the facts versus the theory versus the opinionation to blah blah, and it's like everyone is here and it looks like everyone knows what they're doing, but everyone doesn't know what they're doing. Like some of them, are acting like these people know what they're doing, but these people don't. But they're trying to pretend that, you're all the same thing. They both live in different places. Like this person's eating, this
Mm.
person's trying to eat, but he's pretending like they're in the same balance, you know.
Yeah. Is
So
that persona, isn't it?
yeah, it's a persona, and the worst
Mm.
thing it is that you know you trying to pretend that you have empathy for someone doesn't
Mm.
mean you have empathy. It means that that person over there thinks you have empathy for them and trying to be in the same status as you to find out
Mm.
when they need something from you they can't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think smartly for like it doesn't really matter what that person says
Mm.
or thinks. You have to be able
Mm.
to blend, become a chameleon in a situation that you're in.
Mm. Mm.
You know, like as me and you know, in the first lockdown, we ended up doing some social distance work photo
Yeah.
shoots,
Mm.
and you know, each shoot was an experience
Mm-hmm.
because first shoot was quiet, the second shoot
Mm.
was quiet, the third shoot was, things were starting to get lifted up a little bit, so you
Mm.
start seeing more people, um,
Mm.
which is kind of mad because where we were, there wasn't any people, there wasn't really
Mm.
that much people, but when at the
No.
end of the day, you start seeing crowds of people, sort
Mm.
of thing, and and at the same time, it's been another learning thing because the fact that we knew London was quiet, we took more chances on other things.
Mm.
The accessories that we might have used for certain shoots. So, not normally you'd think there's a crowd of people, so you wouldn't bring these accessories, but
Yeah.
because there was a crowd of people, you think,
Mm.
well, I'd say someone would think that it's okay to bring these things, and you just turn up and you're like, yeah, okay, well, that's
Mm.
fine. It's likely that we're not going to, and then as soon as you look
Mm.
back at the images, you're like, yeah, well, to be honest, with these images,
Mm.
the way it looks like on the camera,
Mm-hmm.
it's personed as something else that we were doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't that. But
I
yeah,
mean,
back to
there were a few quite sorry to cut off. Sorry, there were we came across content creators, you know, a few of them. They were scattered around the city,
yeah, yeah.
you know. Mm,
But that's what you like. That's what you expect as artists. You expect artists to be out
exactly.
there. I mean,
Mm,
to be honest, I expect not to see a lot of people, or
mm,
I'd hope not to see a lot of people, because
mm,
the thing is, it will let you know where your mindset is, or, and how you think. If
mm,
you went there and there's thousands of people, content creating,
mm,
then
mm,
it would show that you all think alike.
mm.
The less people that are there means that
Yeah.
you go back and think, okay, like you one in a million,
Mm,
you may
mm,
be one in a billion, because really and truly, if you look at the status of how many people in the UK alone,
mm.
not just in the world, because people can still fly over and create in the
Of
same
course.
areas as we are, because
Mm,
flight has never stopped. I mean, it
mm,
stopped recently, as we got to the second lockdown, but the
mm,
first lockdown is kind of open,
mm,
so anyone could have come down and created. Like, to be honest, someone could have flew over from India and got
mm.
the best footage, the best
Exactly.
footage, and went back over and make millions. You know,
Mm,
movie directors, all these different people, all of, like, let's say, even on Zoom, how you can change the
mm.
background for Zoom and the rest of it.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
we like that. Uh, the River Thames in the background. You know,
Exactly.
you know. I'm not gonna say a drone, but you could have had a drone
Yeah.
just riding, on the streets of London, going into the water, going back over, because it's not a height risk. There's a
Mm,
certain level where you can run, and it's
mm,
creating.
mm,
So,
mm.
I mean,
And I've noted down here, like when you see when